Your business, your rules. Grow a business that works for you. This is the HerBusiness Podcast. Hey there, welcome to the HerBusiness Podcast. Here we explore the business, leadership and mindset shifts that help you create a business and life that works for you on your terms. I'm Susie Daphnis, I'm the CEO at HerBusiness, and whether this is your very first episode, hey there, or you've been with me through all 344, I'm so glad that you're here, because today we're talking about something that a lot of established women business owners are wrestling with, but we don't always talk about it openly. And that is the financial side of marketing. So not just marketing strategies, not just how to get more leads or more engagement, but how to make sure that all the money, time, and energy that you're investing in your marketing is actually working. And it's not just quietly draining your cash flow or leaving you unsure about what's really profitable. So let's talk about it. But before we do, I want to say Happy New Year. As this episode goes to air, it's the middle of January already, but we've only just come back as a team this week after a 3-week break. So I wanted to say Happy New Year. My wish for you is that this year brings you everything that you desire and that I can be with you on this journey to creating a more sustainable, more profitable business that is by your rules. So let's talk about money and marketing, because if we had endless marketing budgets, we'd all be running ads and hiring help and launching webinars and growing like crazy. That part's kind of obvious. But most of us are making strategic decisions with very limited resources. And that is the case whether you are generating under $100,000 or $1 million, right? We always have a limit to the resources that we can spend. And that can feel a little bit like the saying where you hear people say it's like building a plane while you're flying it. So maybe right now you are launching a new service or a new program. Maybe you're looking at moving away from one-on-one work into more leveraged income streams. Maybe you're trying to automate your lead generation. But when you crunch the numbers, things just don't add up. And you think, is this actually sustainable? And if that's you, know that you're not alone. And inside of HerBusiness, we've heard women say these exact words. I know I'm working at a loss. I'm borrowing from myself to fund my Facebook ads. Or I've never created a real budget that included marketing before, or I'm shifting to leveraged offers, but how do I plan for that financially? Now, these are smart, capable business owners, and they're still feeling the gap, because while marketing is an investment, it's not meant to feel like a black hole. And every marketing decision you make is also a financial decision. So in this episode, we're talking about how to lead your marketing with financial clarity, not from a point of, oh gosh, do I spend the money, and fear, not from, oh, I hope it works, but from confidence and leadership. But first, a quick caveat. I am not a finance expert. I am not here to turn you into an accountant. I couldn't be one if I tried, and I couldn't do that for you either. But I am a CEO, and I've been in business a very long time. And I know what it's like to make big marketing decisions without a clear view of what's financially viable. It's frustrating, it's stressful, and it can hold you back from the growth that you know you're capable of. So let's break this down. Why does marketing sometimes feel like it isn't working? Because we spend, we test, we post, we launch. We buy the ads, we print the flyers, we put the signs out, but we don't always know what's really generating return on investment. We don't always know what percentage of our revenue we can safely invest, or how to forecast the return we're going to get, or when to stop spending if something's underperforming. And without that clarity, we can make decisions on panic or urgency or what someone else is doing instead of making smart, intentional CEO-level decisions. So how do we shift into financial leadership when it comes to our marketing? Well, here's what I want you to know. Even if you've been in business for years, it's not too late to learn this. You don't need to be a finance wizard. Isn't that a good thing? But you do need enough visibility to make informed decisions, because you're not just the marketer, you are the leader of your business. And leadership looks like asking the right questions before you invest. And those questions are, what am I actually building right now? Is this for immediate cash or long-term growth? What can I afford to spend without compromising the stability of the business? And what is my expected return? So let's unpack a few of those, starting with, what are you building right now? So are you building for cash right now or growth later? Because these require different marketing strategies. If you are building for cash now, you are likely selling services or retainers or offers that bring in immediate revenue, or you're focused on conversions and nurturing warm leads, and you're working with what's already in your product suite, your existing ecosystem. If you're building for later, maybe you're growing your email list or launching a leveraged offer or increasing the traffic to your site, or creating content to build visibility, or you're setting up long-term funnels. And both paths are absolutely valid, and I want you to think about them in that way. But what you need to know is which one are you working on, because that affects how you spend. Next, I'd love for you to set one clear marketing goal for the next 90 days. Not 5, not 10, just one. This is something we do every quarter inside of Her Business. We have quarterly business strategy meetings where we look at our marketing and our money and our mindset and a whole lot of other things, and we get very clear on what we're focused on, because so many things can take our attention away from what's really important. And our members love these events because of the focus they bring. So set one clear marketing goal for the next 90 days and ask yourself, is that consistent weekly sales, and you want to put a number to that goal? Is it a profitable launch, and what does that look like? Is it stabilizing your cash flow so you have fewer ups and downs? Is it building leads for an upcoming offer, and then how many leads? And then you want to ask, how much am I comfortable investing in marketing over the next 90 days? And I want you to have a number, regardless of what your revenue is. What is that number that you're willing to spend? And there are so many ways that you can spend it. I won't talk about that right now, but maybe it's $200 a month. Okay, so that's less than $10 a day. Maybe it's $5,000 a month. The number doesn't matter, but clarity does. You're putting a financial boundary around your marketing so that you don't overspend or underspend or feel like you're flying blind. And then I want you to run your marketing like the CEO, like the leader that you are. So every month, check in and ask, what marketing activities brought in leads or sales? What did I spend in time and money? What worked and what didn't? So you have to have a clear picture of what working looks like, right? What do I want to keep doing? What do I want to stop? And it doesn't have to be overly complicated. For example, we work with an agency to run our Facebook and Instagram ads, and sometimes those ads, going back to point one, sometimes they're for the long game. We're building our listenership of this show, we're building our email list, and sometimes it's about very specific campaigns we're working on. But every week we get a report showing us exactly how many leads we got, where they came from, like which ads performed, and what they cost us per lead. So we can track down the line, that lead that cost us X has returned Y within the first 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If something is not working, and by not working, we've already determined how much we're willing to spend on a lead, then we pause it. If something is working, we turn up the tab. Now that is taking financial leadership for your marketing. And if all this feels a little outside your comfort zone, you can get help. So we have bookkeepers and finance pros inside the Her Business Network who can help you with this. So you don't have to figure it all out alone. Inside the network, we also give all our members access to our small business finance course, which helps you create a real budget, understand your cash flow, price your offers so that they're profitable, and has you feel confident making financial decisions as a business owner. So whether you are just starting to hire help, whether it's a social media manager, whether it's an ad agency, whether it's someone to design your flyers, or you're launching a leveraged offer, this is about building your financial muscles one step at a time. Because when you understand your numbers, you market with more confidence. You stop over-investing in things that don't serve you. You stop throwing spaghetti against the wall, something I have done many, many times. Like, I hope this works. But it's only when I've sat down and thought, okay, well, this is the return I need to get on this, and this is how many sales or leads this means, etc. And when you do this, you start making clear, intentional decisions that support your goals. So you don't have to become a finance expert. You don't need to step into your role as a finance person, but you do need to step into your role as the leader of your business. So start where you are, pick one goal, decide on a marketing budget that works for you, track your results, and reach out for support when you need it. Because this part of business, you don't have to do it alone. And you can learn along the way, even if you have been in business for decades. A very good friend of mine who runs a seven-figure business, has not done Facebook ads up until now. All of her business has been generated from referrals and from organic traffic. And this year, she said, the marketing strategy she's doubling down on is to buy marketing ads. You can bet she's going to be measuring every single dollar that she spends, and every single dollar is going to be allocated to something that she can measure the return on investment. So this is us just becoming better leaders of our business, better leaders, better stewards of our money, and thinking about marketing as an investment in our future. And the thing is, regardless of what your business is, we want to always be marketing. We want to always be looking to the future. What I've seen happen sometimes is, especially with people who have businesses where you work one-on-one with people, is that you are consulting. And so what happens is you go out, you get the business, now you're delivering the results. And what happens is that client project comes to an end, and now you're out there hawking your wares again to get the next client. So we want to have an always-on marketing campaign where we are bringing in leads, we're keeping them warm, and then we're turning them into sales. And so that is going to take a little bit of investment. Whether your investment is paying to go to networking events, or buying, as I said, ads, or putting something in the trade newsletter, or buying a ticket to an industry event, or somewhere, turning up where your ideal clients are, there's always an investment. It could be subscribing to publications so that you are up to date with trends. There is always an investment in marketing. So if I was to come and look at your budget, I want to make sure that there is a line item of your marketing spend, and that you can, at the end of the year, know what you paid and what the return was. So, as I said, inside Her Business, we are here to walk through this with you, to help you build a business that is not just growing, but it's profitable, it's sustainable, and it's aligned with the real life that you want. So if today's episode hits home a little and you think, you know what, I need to learn more about this, I need to step more into the leadership and the CEO role in my business as it relates to my marketing. And it's whether you're looking at your costings after years in business, or you're finally handing off your marketing to a new person, you are moving forward, or you're hiring the first person to help you with your marketing. Again, to give you an example, one of our very successful members has always held the reins of the marketing, right? Because that's what brings in the money. And I totally understand that. But now that is keeping her from looking for new business opportunities. And so maybe you too are so in the weeds doing all the things in the business that you haven't invested in a person that can help you with the marketing. And I know that if you're a good marketer, this is the hardest thing to do, because you are just so good at it, right? You can write the copy, you can schedule the posts, you're really cool in Canva, right? You can write the proposals, you can, optimize the website. But should you be doing that work? So this year, we're calling it the year of leverage inside of Her Business. And what that means is, how do you do more with less? And so sometimes we have to invest in order to get a return. And so maybe for you, the investment this year in your marketing, the financial side of your marketing, is to, one, like my friend, venture into paying for leads, right? Maybe the thing is to invest in a person to help you do the marketing. Maybe it's to invest in some software. So for example, maybe your website needs a great SEO plugin that allows you to be found more often. Maybe your investment is in a course that's going to teach you how to create the marketing that really gets results. Maybe you'll join a program, an ongoing program that is all about making you a better marketer. Think about how you're going to invest with your marketing, because here's what I see does not work. What does not work is ad hoc marketing that is inconsistent, that doesn't work. So whatever you are intending on selling this year, and I want you to sell as much as you want of everything that you sell, and I want the same thing for me too. You want to have a plan around, what am I going to invest to make that money? So you want to know, what is a new client worth to me today? If I got them, what is a new client worth to me over the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? Because I get to know their buying behavior, and I get to know they buy once a year, once every 10 years. Say you were selling real estate, or they, will buy every season because you're a stylist, and every season you bring out a guide to what the trends are for that season. So you want to get clear about where you're spending, how much you're spending, and then you want to be measuring the results. So that means, again, putting your CEO hat on and go, okay, if I needed to measure this marketing activity, how do I do that? Here's what's hard to measure. If your marketing consists of, I'm doing social posts, unless you have a trackable link connected to that social post that leads to something that people buy, or it leads to them becoming a lead, and then you can track their sales internally on your CRM, then you're never going to know if all that energy you're putting into your social media is working. So you want to start thinking about metrics. We actually have a great download about money metrics that every business owner should know. And what I'll do is I'll put that in our show notes so that it's easily available to you. So we've just touched on this topic of marketing and money. And so if anything here resonated with you, know that you are not behind, and getting clear on your numbers is not about being perfect. It is about making empowered decisions that support your marketing and your growth and your peace of mind. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a very specific course about business finances that will help you become a better financial leader and make decisions that lead to more profit for your business. It's called the Small Business Finance Course, and you don't have to be a numbers person to go through it. It is for business owners. It's valued at $2,000, but it comes free with HerBusiness Network membership, which costs less than that for an entire year. It's actually less than $50 a week. So if you want to dive deep into how to build a more profitable, scalable business, if you want to really lead your business this year, then I encourage you to join the HerBusiness Network, because we have tools, training, and really trusted support that's going to help you grow. And when you join, you immediately get access to the Small Business Finance course. So you can head over to herbusinessnetwork.com to apply, and I'll have that link and anything else we've referenced here today over in the show notes page for this episode, which you'll find at herbusiness.com/344. So make this the year that you hit your revenue and profit goals. And we have a whole lot of support for our members this year around that specific goal. And also, as I mentioned, we're calling it the year of leverage. So we are looking at, how do I invest $1 and get $2 back, right? How do we leverage our money and our investments in every way? So one of our newest members is a woman from the UK, actually, Sarah Brabham. So most of our members are in Australia and New Zealand. We have some in the US, and we have very few in Europe. And I think it's because many of our events are run at times that are not really easy for people in Europe to attend. But Sarah is making the investment in herself, and she is coming along to our events, and she joined our network in 2025. She's a listener of the podcast, and she says she is loving the podcast. Now, what her business does, now she's a British wildlife sculptor, so she creates sculptures that are inspired by wildlife, and they're available for purchase on her website. I'll put a link to her website on the show notes. And she works in clay and bronze, and she creates these pieces that allow you to connect with those animals that she's doing. They're all one-offs and very authentic, so not mass-produced at all. And she has a little business, she said, but I had a conversation with her, and her little business is set for big things this year because she's joined the network. She's already diving in. She's done the Small Business Finance course and loved it, and put in place her budget and her projections. And I'm so proud of her. And I know that sounds weird for one adult to say to another, I'm proud of you, but I am so proud of her because she made the investment in joining her business, and now she's making the investment in using the resources. So thank you to Sarah for her review. So if you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, or you can shoot us a message directly on Instagram. You'll find us at HerBusiness on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, every day we're posting tips and strategies for business. And as I said, anything related to what I said here today, you'll find over at herbusiness.com/344. If you're new to the show, welcome. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening. Click that follow button or subscribe button to make sure you get the next episode. And because we have some amazing topics and guests coming up. So I will see you next week right here on the Her Business Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and bye for now.